everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to fully bling a 12-ounce tumbler using Beacon's GemTac. This project takes a little time, but it's so worth it. Let's go over the supplies. First, you need a straight tumbler, and then we have our rhinestones. I will talk about the different sizes later. I have my Beacon GemTac precision tip bottle. We are going to add our GemTac to this bottle. I use it because of the finer point. We have our prep tools, a nail file, and alcohol wipes. Now these things are optional, but I do like to have a glue holder to hold my bottle upside down, and I also have a tumbler cradle. Before we get started, I do want to stress that this tumbler is a straight tumbler. There is absolutely no taper with this tumbler, and it will tell you in the description that it is a straight tumbler. Most times you are unable to see a slight taper with the naked eye. So be sure to read the description when purchasing straight tumblers. So while I get set up, let me talk about our bling technique we're going to use today. It is called the Honeycomb method. First, we're going to prep our tumbler, and all we're going to do, I'm going to speed this up just because it just takes a few minutes, but we're just going to lightly sand the tumbler. And this is part of the prepping process. You want to give the rhinestones something to grip onto. So once that's done, you are going to have a little bit of dust on your work surface, so go ahead and clean that. And then I'm going to take these mini alcohol wipes, and I am just going to clean off the surface of the tumbler to get rid of all of the dust. The first one really gets dirty because we're going to use both these alcohol pads. And the second pad is just to kind of clean up what you may have missed. Do not skip this part. It is very, very important when blinging a tumbler. After using the second alcohol wipe, we do need to sit the tumbler to the side and let it dry just for a few moments. So now we're just going to open up the GemTac, and I'm just going to show you how to simply squeeze this into your precision point bottle. I already have a bottle full, but this is how you do it. You just remove the top, and you'll see that one tip is a little bit bigger than the other. And then when you open your GemTac, you're going to have a little seal in there. Just get that out. Put your top back on and unscrew the bottle for the precision point bottle, and then you're just going to squeeze your GemTac straight into the bottle. I go ahead and shake it, get the glue into the nozzle, and then place the glue bottle into my glue holder. We are almost ready to bling. I do want to talk about rhinestones just for a second, and I want you guys to understand why it's important to have a very straight tumbler. We are using SS20 rhinestones, and because our tumbler is straight, we only need, and we're not adding any names or any shapes or anything, we only need this one size stone. If your cup was tapered, or if you were adding like a name to your tumbler, you would need SS20s as well as a multi-pack. And I'm going to pick this up in just a second. Different companies have different sizes of multi-packs, and our multi-pack includes an SS16, SS12, SS10, 8, 6, and 3. And that way, if you were adding different shapes or a name onto the tumbler, you're going to need different sizes to kind of fill in all of the gaps, but we don't need that because our cup is straight and we're not going to add any other decorations or anything to the tumbler. So we're simply just going to open up our rhinestones, and you just need to pour it into some kind of plate. When you're beginning, don't feel like you have to get a rhinestone tray. It is good to have, but you can use a paper plate, or like this is just a little trinket tray that I have, and I just poured them in there and it's going to be fine. And when you shake it, your rhinestones should turn over. When I was introducing the supplies earlier in the video, I completely forgot to say you need a wax pencil. And a wax pencil just helps you pick up the rhinestones. And I will show you a better example of how to use it in just a second. Right now, I am showing you how much glue is acceptable when you are blinging a tumbler. The top line is a lot of glue. And the bottom line, you can see it's a little bit more of a finer line. When you place your rhinestone on the glue that's the finer line, you'll see there's not a lot of glue oozing from underneath. But when you place the rhinestone on the other one, you can see how the glue is kind of all around the edges, and that's what you want to try to avoid. I loved showing this example because I think people feel like you need a lot of adhesive, and you don't, you just need the right adhesive. Okay, so here's the wax pencil, and what I'm going to do, it's just wax. It's like a crayon, and I'm just going to take a regular pencil sharpener, and I'm going to sharpen it. And I do like it pretty pointy, and so you'll see it just sharpens like a regular pencil sharpener. You get it pointy, and then you're ready to use it. Okay, so we're ready to bling. And so I'm adding glue, but I'm going to show you the wax pencil. So what you do is you just take your pencil and you're just going to pick up your rhinestone facet side up. So you'll see, I think you'll be able to see it in the camera, but you just tap it just a little bit. I'm going to move the tray and you can see the flat side is at the bottom, the facet side's at the top. And you're just going to take that rhinestone and you're just going to lay it down at the very top of your tumbler, just like that. And it just releases. And it's not like you don't struggle with it. It's just very, very, very easy. Do not be intimidated by the wax pencil. And I never ask anyone when I teach blinging to rush through any of the processes of blinging except for the first row. So we're going to add glue. And then we're going to add the rhinestones. I usually add enough glue for about 8 to 10 stones, and then I put the glue down and then I just add the rhinestones. This first row is so important. If the line isn't straight, then the rest of your tumbler will be off and you will be a little bit disappointed in your work. And so I like to kind of add the rhinestones pretty quickly. And then I'm going to show you guys how I make it straight without using any extra tools except for my wax pencil and my desktop. So let me speed through this part just a little bit and then we'll get to the part where we are going to straighten our top row. So we're adding the last rhinestone. And remember, this doesn't have to be straight. And there's a little bit of a gap, but I don't want to force another stone in this place. I don't think it's going to fit. And we want all of the rhinestones on the top row to be the same size. So we just sit the cup down and I move the camera and you can see how it's not even. All you're going to do is take your wax pencil and press the rhinestones down to your work surface. And you want to make sure your rhinestones are meeting or touching each other side to side. And you want to make sure that they were touching your workspace. And there's where that gap is. So let's just start over right here. There we go. And we're just going to make sure that they're touching each other and they're touching the tabletop. And we're going to go do this all the way around. And at the end, we are going to have a gap. And I'm going to show you how to camouflage the gap so it looks like nothing is missing. So let's keep going. You can see, I think I should have did this right on my table instead of using my desk mat, but it's going pretty well. And then in the end, you'll see the line is really straight. So we're going to come all the way around and you'll see that gap again. I like using the gaps as reference to know where I start and stop. So now I'm going to grab another SS20 rhinestone that's the exact same size and I'm going to place it there. And it didn't fit. Like it looked like it wanted to fit, but it really didn't. It was kind of sticking up on the left side. And so all we're going to do is take the rhinestones around it. See, I moved the one up because we're not going to use it. And I am just going to kind of move the stones so they're close to each other and they're not actually touching, but your eye thinks that they're touching. And so that's what I'm doing right here. And at any point, if you're doing this, you feel like your rhinestones are coming off and you need to add a little bit more glue, add a dot of glue. And so look, it looks really, really good. It looks really camouflage, and we're going to take that other stone away. And if you look at all of the rhinestones, it looks pretty straight. So here I'm just removing that rhinestone, and this is where the tumbler cradle comes into place. You want to place it where that top row is not touching anything, because you want it to dry for about 20 minutes before you go to your next row. And look, you can see that line is really, really, really straight. So let's just go ahead and sit that down for a second before we start the second row. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes and we're going to start on the second row. And then this is where you're going to see the honeycomb method come into play. So let's just go ahead and add a little glue. I do get a little bit closer in the video in just a second. And you're going to take the next rhinestone and you're going to place it in between the two rhinestones above. So it's going to go right there, and then you're just going to press it up. So on the second row, your rhinestones go in between the two rhinestones above, and you're going to place the rhinestone on the cup, and then you're going to press it into place. Light pressure, because just in case if your adhesive is not 100% dry, you want to try not to move that top row. And we're going to do this, and we're just going to go around and around and around. And you'll see my mind gets a little bit bored. And so sometimes I'll work on 2 rows at a time or 3 rows at a time, because sometimes just going in the same circle over and over and over, it gets a little bit boring for my brain. So I'm going to speed it up in just a second and show you guys how I continue blinging. And the 3rd row would be just like the 2nd row, and so on and so on. By the 5th row, you'll start to see that honeycomb pattern, and it's going to look so good. And I didn't even say the color of the rhinestone that we're using. It's called crystal. It's just a clear rhinestone. These are glass rhinestones with a silver back. It kind of reminds me of like a chandelier, and basically it's really my favorite rhinestone. It's the most inexpensive rhinestone you can purchase, and of course you can find rhinestones, glass rhinestones. So many people sell them. You can Google glass rhinestones, or you can go to Amazon and put in the search glass rhinestones, and you should be able to find them there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video, but like I said, you just do the same process over and over and over. When you get to the bottom, I will show you a little trick to try to, make sure that last line, it continues to stay straight. But I think the most important thing is that when you place the rhinestone down, that you press it, just don't put it on the glue. Place it on the cup and then push it into place. I think a lot of people don't do that, and then that's how some of the lines also get off track, because you want to make sure the rhinestones are touching the rhinestones above. And another thing, if you add a little bit too much of the adhesive, remember at the beginning I was showing too much adhesive in the right amount. If you add a little bit too much, you're going to have the glue around the stone, and when you go to press the stone to touch the stones above, it's going to be a little bit difficult, and that will also cause you to have your lines not be straight. Okay, we're going to go ahead and speed up the video now. In just a moment, we're going to be at the bottom of the tumbler. I did record a lot of this off camera, but you'll see I am going to bling the last 2 lines on camera to show you. Sometimes you want to bling to the very, very bottom, but I kind of measured the stones, and that last stone just didn't fit. It would be hanging off just a little bit, but enough to where if you place this tumbler on a table, they may start to pop off. So there's going to be a little bit of room at the bottom, but this tumbler turns out amazing. You can even see it here. You can see the honeycomb pattern. Honeycomb is the technique I use when I've started blinging, and it's absolutely my favorite. It goes pretty fast. It's kind of like, I don't know, you're just going in order. It's kind of mindless. It reduces stress in my opinion. Leave us a comment with any questions and we will be sure to do our best to answer. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed this basic beginners blinging video. I hope you guys all give it a try. And as I said, this tumbler is simply amazing.